This session is being recorded, and we hope that even though some persons are not here, we will be able to share the recording with people. So today we are going to be looking at, today is midweek. I don't know how many of you are here for prices, but um, the charts are still the same, it's still going the way we hoped it will. And but today we're just going to do something a bit different because we had expected that we would have a lot more new persons in our midst. So we will just continue like that. Okay, so we will be starting from the evolution of money itself. Money as you have it, money as you know it, and you know, as you love to spend it. All right. So I don't know how many of you actually know about the history of money. Like I said, this session is going to be recorded, so feel free to maybe request the slides or even the recording, and it will be sent to you so that you can go through it in your own spare time. So throughout history, the concept of money has continually evolved to meet the needs of society. And in one of our sessions, we did talk about the barter system, and which of course everybody knows, the famous trade by barter, and then which was followed by commodity money, which was gold, silver, and the rest. Commodity money is basically where people buy things using gold and silver. One of the quickest reference we can get to commodity money is the Bible times. For those of us that are Christians here, in the Bible you see them exchanging and dealing in gold, silver, and the stuff like that as a means of exchange. So money has gone through different stages of evolution before we got to the major innovation, which was paper money, which is basically the introduction of banknotes, which were more easier to carry and convenient to carry. As you can imagine, it is lighter than metal, it's lighter than gold. Okay, so in modern times, the fiat, which is the government issue money, without intrinsic value, became the norm, accepted as legal tender based on trust and regulation. And the reason it's based on trust and regulation is because, irrespective of the fact that we are still dealing with fiat, which is paper-based money, the paper-based money is still backed by gold. We're not going to go too in depth into the gold revolution and all of that, which is giving everybody the history of how the world's currencies were backed by gold, up until the point the US government came and said, hey, instead of you guys to back your own currency by gold, why don't we all agree to back by the US dollar? And then the US dollar itself has enough gold reserves for everyone. The problem we are facing today is that the US economy in its own is facing a massive inflation right now, because at a point they didn't have the gold that they promised everyone they had to back the amount of fiat currency that was actually in circulation. And so that is why we have countries like Russia, China, and everybody trying to break out and get their own amount of gold. If you follow the news closely, especially China and Russia. Those countries have been amassing gold, mining and buying in mass within the last 10 years because they want to go back to a time where their paper-based money is backed by the gold, instead the gold value instead of the US dollar. Okay, because with that they feel that trade will be a lot more easier. Okay, the advent of the internet itself is what brought about the need for electronic money as we know it, with the use of credit cards and online banking system. The digital money became very known in the 2000 and within 2009. Okay, 2009 was when Bitcoin was launched. I don't know how many of you heard of Bitcoin then. You know, the internet itself, as we know it, is what gave rise to digital money, because we then began to understand that people cannot just deal with hard currencies over the internet. It just wasn't feasible. So instead of dealing with hard currencies over the internet, the banking system and everybody became very innovative, creating online banking, creating even your mobile apps. The mobile apps you have shows your account balance, true or false. It shows your account balances and you see that you have money in there, but that money is just a text. It's a text written. Okay, when you transfer money from one place, from one bank to another, from one user to another, those banks have a central network. They are all operating, especially the Nigerian banks. They are all operating on a central network called the NIBBS. Okay. Now, what happens on that central network is the one that says, okay, GT Bank, for the whole day, you said you transferred 3.5 billion to Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank, you said you transferred to Sterling Bank. In a nutshell, the NIBBS job is to regulate and actually balance the books behind the scenes. So, safe to say that when you actually do your transfer, that is not when the money actually gets to the other bank. Everything you are just doing is electronic. They are just debiting your account and receiving a signal to credit another account. It doesn't mean that the money has actually gone there. So that was why we said this whole paper, if you go back, let's see if I can go back. You can see in the modern times, fiat currency, government issued money. Okay, these are government issued money, without intrinsic value, became the norm and accepted as legal tender based on trust and regulation. Okay, it's all based on trust and regulation. Hold on, let me see if I can make the call open to all. Admit all. Okay, just a minute. Let me see if I can just make the call open to everyone before we continue. Okay, open. Alright, so now everybody can join without having to interrupt. Okay, so we were saying that because of the internet, right, the need for digital money came in play. The need for digital money came in play. The internet brought about the need for you to conveniently, if you even look at the history from where we are coming from, if you look at the history from where we are coming, first, money was exchanged in the form of trade by barter, which means you have yam, another person has a pair of shoes, and then you just meet up and you exchange if you need it. And that is why we've been hammering on this word, value. Everything you do that is transaction related is all based on value. Okay, if my yam is if my yam, if the yam I have, the 1 tuber of yam, is so valuable to you that you can give me a pair of shoe for it, the transaction takes place. Okay, but over time it became so much so that people felt, okay, this value is not commensurate. I mean, how can you give yam for shoes? It doesn't make sense. So that was what led to the second stage, where we started dealing on commodity money, using things like gold, silver, copper, even grains as a medium of exchange. But even those had its own disadvantages, because I mean, you want to buy something, you'll be carrying a lot of gold coins in your pocket. Gold was rare, hence its value. Silver was rare, hence its value. So from there we moved to the metallic stage, where we started dealing on coins. That is the reason why I came back. Okay, the reason is because the internet came, the need to further make sure that it is convenient for people to carry money was born. That is why you have your banking app. With your banking app, you can travel, and then you no longer need to cash out that 1 million or 500,000 in your account simply because you want to go and buy something. Because the internet was available, we can now move to a different plane. We can now move to a different plane of operations. Please keep your questions until after the presentation, because we don't really have a lot of time, but we will take all the questions. So we have to move to a different level of dealing with money, making sure that it is convenient for us to carry along, hence your mobile apps, your ATMs and all of that. And I was explaining just now that all of those things are just like text, because this currency we are dealing on now has a lot to do with trust. And because it is like this, right, it is known as fiat, a government issued system of exchange. So because it is government issued, it is government regulated. Okay, paper-based money is government issued system of exchange, and because it is government issued, it is highly government regulated. Now, anything that is government regulated is bound to be affected by things like inflation and government policies. Because this kindly mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic if you are not talking. Mr. Elijah, kindly mute your mic so that the presentation can go on. Okay, thank you very much. So the government is issuing you a means of exchange. So because they are the ones issuing it to you, it therefore means that economic factors can play on this, which is what we are experiencing today. If we face any major economic issue, you see that either the value of your money goes down or the value of your money increases. Okay, governments of the world play back and forth with devaluation of currencies here and there, because they are looking for certain level of favors from other governments around the world. If you look at the Chinese money, for example, their currency is highly devalued. Don't be deceived, okay? Because if you want to buy something from there, you have to deal through the dollar. It doesn't mean that their currency is highly devalued. And you know why they did this? They did it so that China will become a hub and a massive spot of commerce. Because the companies in the US will look at it that, okay, if I have to produce this item in the US, it's going to cost me probably $10 to produce one. But if I do it in China, the currency there is low, it's highly devalued, there's raw materials there, there's everything there. The same product I'll produce in the US for about $10, I will probably produce it in China for about $1. And then from there, I'll be able to sell very well. The only reason we are all crying that our currency is being devalued in Nigeria, it's affecting us, everything, is because Nigeria is hardly producing anything. We are importing everything, and that is the problem. Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the birth of digital money. Now, circling back to the whole point, because this fiat is something that was issued to you by the government, and it's something that economic factors can play on, all right, Hence the need, that was what brought about the need of cryptocurrencies in the year 2009 with the launch of Bitcoin as one of the world's strongest cryptocurrency. Okay, now why do we say cryptocurrency? The one thing that makes the cryptocurrency so powerful is its decentralized nature. We were just talking about the NIBBS just now and how it helps to balance the books between our local banks behind the scenes when they do transactions on a daily basis. So when you try to transfer money from one bank to another and they tell you there's no network, it's not that there's no network internet, it's the NIBBS that is down. That NIBBS portal, if it's down, no transfer is going to work. So now, because our currency is highly government dependent, someone thought about it and said, okay, let's create a system of exchange for maintaining the value of our money that is not dependent on whether the economy is good or the economy is not good. And so they thought to themselves, and were like, okay, cryptocurrency came up within the advent of that. But also, if you look at it, that was also what brought about, the whole digital asset as it is, the whole need for digital assets as it is, because people now thought about it, okay, what about gold? We have left gold for a very long time. The reason why we left gold is because it was heavy to carry, and based on security, this item is very, very scarce, and because it's scarce, it's highly valuable. I cannot be carrying it all around. But gold is still a very potent and strong means of ascertaining and maintaining the value of any fiat currency. So what do? Let's digitize gold. Let's create cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency came up with the blockchain development, and almost anybody can build a new currency outside of the government regulated currencies. And that is why governments of the world who don't understand it are fighting tooth and nail against it. The reason why Nigeria is fighting crypto today is not because they don't know it's good, it's because they've not found a way to regulate it. It's because they've not found a way to pry into it, maybe tax it or something. Okay, so that is it. Because even before crypto came, before all of those things, the Nigerian naira has been steadily going down from the 1990s and the 1980s, for those of you that are here. Okay, so digital assets simply is those things that we know that are valuable, those things that we know the government cannot influence. Take gold, for example. The government cannot influence the availability of gold. In recent time, I know that there's been some studies, there's been some research, some labs are trying to create synthesized golds, in the lab, gold that you don't have to mine. But then it's not going to be as successful as the earthed one, the one that you have to go and actually mine for. So what do? What is digital assets about? It is about, okay, this is gold. We know that gold is valuable. We know that gold is scarce. Okay, why don't we now use this gold and tie our money around it, so that as the value of gold goes up, the value of our money goes up. If the value of gold comes down, the value of our money comes down. We are okay with that. Instead of having to just hold the money ordinarily, and then the government can just wake up today and tell you, oh, we are going to war with this country, and all of a sudden the value of your money takes a dive. Or they just come up and say, oh, we are increasing port duties, as we are already doing in Nigeria, and all of a sudden the value of your money takes a dive. So digital assets is a way for you to preserve your money. If you have 100,000 today, you quickly use it to go and buy gold today. In 2 months' time, Person A who has the same 100,000, if he goes to the market, he might be faced with inflation and things like, oh, things don't cost, and this thing where your 100,000 fit buy at that time, you know, fit buy them again, things don't go down, things don't add money, things don't add money, but your own money did not grow, your own money remained the same. But person B, who at the same time with person A got his money, went to buy gold. Whether I bought it as physical gold, whether I bought it as digital gold, it really doesn't matter. He ran and went to buy gold. What that person just did is, the person just ran to look for the surest way he can make sure that, okay, what my money is able to do for me today, let it be able to do it anytime I want to use it. Anytime I want to use this money, I want this money to be able to give me the same result it can give me today. So the person runs and he buys gold. And then 2 months time, when person A is complaining that, oh, I bought a carton of Indomie for 5,000 naira before, right? For 5,000 naira before. Now they say it's 11,000. How am I going to cope? I can't even afford that Indomie again. Person B must have gone that period and then exchange his money, convert it from gold back to his normal currency. And what is going to come along with that exchange is going to come along with the naira now, the person's money now is going to come along with all the value of gold, all the increased value of gold. Even if the amount in gold did not even increase, the person has successfully tied his money, and it's just like putting the money in a state where, okay, you are frozen in time. Okay, what you'll be able to do is still what you'll be able to do, because you know why? Things like government policy and economic factor can affect the production of your local goods and services, but it doesn't affect the price of gold. It doesn't affect the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't affect the price of all those digital assets. So storing your money in those digital assets is a sure bet for you to know that anytime you need your money, you'll be able to get that value. That is just what digital asset is about. That is just what digital asset is about. Digital asset, is important to every Nigerian, not just the cryptos. Now, the reason why a lot of Nigerians found the crypto to be very useful, and why another reason why the government, is even attacking it, is because most people were so eager. If you look at this, for example, I was talking to somebody the other day, and the person was saying, oh, FCMB is giving me 400 naira. I'm not FCMB now. I'm just using that as an example. XYZ Bank is giving me 400 naira per day for 1 million naira that I'm saving with them. 1 million naira. Now, what is that 400 naira? That 400 naira is just 0.0% of 1 million. 0.0%. Now, if you calculate it, that amounts to 1.2% in a month. And 1.2% in a month amounts to less than 15% in a whole year. That is what the banks think that your money is worth. Whereas, if you go and look at the performance of things like gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, silver, these currencies, these digital assets, they are even doing way more than that. Some of them are even doing 15% in 3 months. Some of them are doing 30% in 6 months. Some of them are doing, 50-something% in a year. So how do you make sure that things like inflation and the rest does not catch up with you? We started this year on a very high note. I don't know about the rest of you. Personally, I'm in Lagos. When this year started, a carton of noodles was as high as 11,000 naira. Before the year ended, everybody was buying below even 6,000. and then it came and it multiplied in value immensely, and people started crying, people started shouting. Recently, the prices of things like common things like tomato and the rest has even gone up. Now, some people will be deceived into thinking, oh, maybe if I earn in dollars. Yes, if you do earn in dollars, you'll be okay. But how do you bring that dollars home? Because the banks are telling you that there's even a limit to how much of your dollars should be in the bank. You have to convert everything to naira. There's a limit to how much of the dollars you can even withdraw. You can withdraw. You can't go to the bank and say you want to withdraw. I can't even remember the limit again. Okay, simply because we feel like this is the way forward as a nation. That's what the government feels. But how does that directly affect you in person? Okay, so most of you here are not familiar with the Lotusgold Market. You are just, coming across this for the first time. What is Lotusgold Market? Okay, the government has said Binance should go away, Bybit should go away, OKX should go away. These are platforms that can even enable you buy digital assets before on a normal day, and then you can trade to your back to your local currency using P2P. First off, P2P is okay, I want to sell, the other person pays money for it. But now if anybody makes a mistake and go and put I paid 100,000 for XYZ amount of BTC, your account will be blocked immediately. All the banks are giving warnings about it. So if you can't buy crypto and you don't know how to do forex, so how then do you move forward in saving your money and keeping the value of your money? One of the major issues that the Nigerian government had with all of those Binance and the rest was compliance issues. First off, they said those platforms don't have the required, they are not registered in Nigeria, they are not Nigerian companies, but they are operating in Nigeria. So they said, okay, you guys don't have the required licenses to be operating in Nigeria. Okay, and then we feel like our people are laundering money with your platform. Can we have access to your user data sheet? And of course, given, all right, it's given. A lot of people, even government officials, may very well be using those platforms for that, because of its decentralized nature. However, there are well-meaning Nigerians who just want to be a part of this trade. There are well-meaning Nigerians who just want to stay ahead of government policies. Recently, the government just increased the MPR rate to an absurd amount, which means they are trying to increase the rate at which people can borrow or should borrow. Now, how does that affect you directly? This is a fight, and this is something that everybody has to take personally. You have to come out and stand and say, okay, my money is not going to be wasted in my hands. Because even minimum wage, if you compare minimum wage here and minimum wage in the US and other countries, you find out that we are earning next to nothing. And even at that, things are getting more expensive by the day. Things are not getting expensive. The value of your money is just dropping. It's not expensive, it's the value. Your money can no longer carry that item. Your money is no longer enough to carry that item. That is what it means. Okay, so Lotusgold Market is registered in Nigeria. It's a Nigerian company, and we have every compliance and regulatory measures in place. In that, it is built for well-meaning Nigerians, not people who want to launder money. We are not looking for people who will bring 50 million or 100 million or one absurd amount of money. That is how we can operate and do what we are doing. Okay, on Lotusgold Market, we are not going to come and see digital assets that have very, very funny names simply because we want to present it to you to make it look flashy, and then you put your money, and before you know it, you lose your money. A couple of years back, there's one crypto coin called Luno. I don't know how many of you know it. That coin was pumped, and by pumped I mean people were, I don't know if it's the owners of the coin, they kept pumping the price, and the price was going up in an absurd rate. A lot of people were buying into it. I'm like, oh man, Luno is growing. And before you know it, they dumped the coin. And dumping the coin means crashing the price. When I say crash the price, I don't mean the price fell a bit and it's coming. They crashed the price to zero. And everybody who invested in such lost everything. In Lotusgold Market, we are only dealing with the most stable of the digital asset worlds. We are dealing on gold. Gold has a proven track record, even in history. We are dealing on silver. Silver also has a proven track record, even in the history books. These two assets have contributed to the whole evolution of money as we know it. We're also dealing in Bitcoin, which has a proven track record since 2009. Same thing with Ethereum. And then when it comes to the world of meme coins, there are so many funny meme coins out there, but we chose to deal on only two. Why? Because we know that these are the coins that, when it comes to crypto, these are the coins that have been stable over the years. These are the coins that have shown prospect. These are the coins that we know is not going to dump anytime soon, not even ever. When you want to talk of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum have become the main face of crypto as we know it. And then when you want to talk of even money itself, you start seeing things like gold and silver. So we have created a platform for you where you can buy these assets and then keep the value of your money. Depending on even how you buy, we have the manual, we have the turbo, we have the fixed. Depending on how you buy, you can even be catching out your profits. As these assets are giving you profit, increasing in value, you can even be picking your profits from the top. If you are the type that does not like to disturb your money, you can just fix it. After all, people fix money in the bank for a year, 6 months, 3 months. You can just fix it, and by the time you are withdrawing your money along with the value that comes with it. Or if you are the type that still does not trust the whole system, you can go in for the manual trade. You buy. Tomorrow, if you want to withdraw, you can withdraw with your profits. If you have gotten profit, withdraw with your profit, your capital, and everything intact. You go home with your money. We're not coming in to tell you, oh, you must bring XYZ amount, you must do this. What we created is a solution to what we see to be a problem. Okay? Now, there are many reasons why you should choose Lotusgold Market as your platform of, digital assets portfolio. But we are going to leave that because a lot of you are in the groups. You can ask your questions, and you can also ask the people that referred you. On the Lotusgold Market website, we have created a chat support system that is so easy and user-centric in the form of something as basic as WhatsApp. Why did we choose WhatsApp? It's not because we couldn't integrate something highly functional. We chose WhatsApp because it is closer to people. It is what people can easily follow. It is a means of contact. It shows you that we are there with you. Inside of, even in your contact, you can chat us up at any day, at any time. And you will always be able to read the history of your conversation and even follow up the history of your conversation as far back as whenever you want to. WhatsApp, we feel, is the closest way we can be there for you. So you can feel free to ask your questions in the group or reach out to the WhatsApp handle, and you will receive all of the assistance that you need. So in conclusion, money has evolved and it's continuing to evolve. it's not going to stop here. The what is happening in your economy is it has evolved to this point, and it's going to continue to evolve. We all pray that things get better soon, so that our children and our children's children will live in a much better society. But in the meantime, how do you ensure that that money you are working for, that your salary, is going to maintain its exact value in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months, and in 5 months' time, when you need it? You are showing up for your work. How do you ensure that your money will show up for you and you will not be taken by surprise every 4 months when you go to the market, or every 8 months when you go to the market? So thank you very much for attending this session. We are going to open now for questions for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll call this a day. Okay, Elijah, please go ahead. Okay, thank you very much for that question. Like what we said, Lotusgold Market is a digital portfolio management company. When you buy an asset today with 5,000 and you see that the asset is doing well, I know a lot of people want to just try with 5,000, and so that if it's a scam, I will not feel it too much. How the Lotusgold Market work is, when you credit your 5,000 on the site there, you have to convert the money to USD before you can even buy an asset. And then when you buy an asset, you are going to see that, okay, if you are making profit, you are going to see it, you are going to be seeing a couple of cents and all that. Okay, it is not a get rich quick platform where you feel, okay, you put 5,000 and then 1 week time you see that you have made 15,000, and so you want to just add money. No, it's not going to work like, it doesn't work like that. So what happens is, you can top up another money into your wallet and buy the assets again. But what is going to happen is, it's not going to go and join that 5,000. It's going to create another pocket of investment for you. So you can have multiple different pockets of investment, even in the same asset or different assets. So that's how it works. Okay, I noticed that he left. Maybe his network is bad. So any other question? Any other question before we round up? Like I said, the recording of this video is going to be made available, and you can always go through it and ask your questions whenever. Any other question before we call it a day? I'm going to stop the recording at exactly 4:52, and then we will disperse. Ask your questions, please. Okay, there's no point dragging the session too long. If there's no question, please reach out in the group, ask your questions, and reach out to the care lines, or reach out to the persons that invited you into the group, and see how best you can how do I say now? You can make sure that you keep up with the meeting. Okay. Since we have a few minutes, let me see if I can quickly we can quickly check on the prices of assets in the market as it is, because we did give some predictions. Let's see how well we are doing currently. So I'm just going to share this quickly, because like we said, or like you already know, we did say that one of the things you will be benefiting from Lotusgold Market is that we do have market reviews every now and then, where we tell you, okay, this asset is too high right now, you might not want to buy. It's too low right now, you might want to buy. And speaking of which, our dollar rate right now is low enough for as many people that wants to do dollar, that wants to save in dollars with us. Okay, this is the gold chart. We did say that we're expecting gold to come all the way down to the 2200s. Currently, gold is at 2341. It's still playing very high, but it's going to come for us. In this region, when gold drops to the 2300 regions, you will be able to comfortably buy. Not that if you buy now you'll be in the wrong, but you'll be able to comfortably buy and relax. Now, as for silver, last week we said that if silver does not go below $29 by the end of this month, silver is going to get as high as $34. Currently, silver is at $32. I know most of you here can attest to that, those that have been following our review since last week. So, as you can see, silver could not go below $28 or $29, and right now it is skyrocketing. As at the time we said, okay, let's watch silver. If it doesn't go below this price, then silver will go up. I think that time silver was at $30 or $29, but now silver is at $32. So if you had bought when silver was at $30, your portfolio will be in profit right now. But understand something: the amount in USD you use to purchase this item is directly proportional to the type of profit you see. So you cannot expect to buy an asset for $3, and then just because on the chart it's making profit, you expect to see $10 profit. The movement of the profit is proportional to how much you invested in it. We're not telling anybody to invest head over heels. This is not something you do with all your money. It's not something you do with your last money either. Treat it like you are buying shares, okay? Just look at it from that mindset. Put something you are comfortable with, leave it and give it time to grow.